Give a huge round of applause for Mia.
All right. How's that? Okay, I'm keeping it going with the New York thing. So I've had a bad boy thing before I even had boobs. In my Queens, New York City elementary school, there was this wild child who would walk me home telling everyone that I was his slave. I mean, he did carry my books, but it was only because my hands were tied behind my back. So fast forward a few decades, I'm at an event for an art school I attended in Manhattan. A fellow alum touched my arm, said he'd see me on Facebook. Poetry Man, as I've come to call him, had gotten kicked out of said art school. Not military school, mind you, art school. He did turn his life around, eventually renovating his family home and paying off the mortgage on Staten Island. For those of you unfamiliar with New York geography, Staten Island is like Catalina, except instead of being a getaway destination, it's a Trump stronghold. Nevertheless, Poetry Man and I had a great first date, lots of banter and laughter and eye contact. At any given moment, there are a slew of thoughts swirling around in my brain. It takes a conscious effort for me to do just this, slow it down and share it in a way that other people can understand. Poetry Man kept up, and he seemed genuinely interested in what I had to say when he wasn't talking about his ex-girlfriend. There were other red flags, but I've only got 5 minutes, and I ignored them all anyway. So on a he was handsome, man, he was yummy. On a busy corner in front of an urgent care center, Poetry Man tried to kiss me. I was not feeling the location, and it was still light out. It was like this bright. And so we just kind of sauntered over to Lincoln Center, where there's a pretty fountain, an open square. He tried to kiss me again. Now there were tourists everywhere, and I didn't want to end up in the background of some random family's vacation pics, tongue dueling. But at the same time, I didn't want to totally shoot him down again. So in my conflicted state, I just opened my mouth, but I didn't use my tongue. So the whole kissing session was Poetry Man kind of searching for my tongue with his tongue. So there was more walking and talking, and we ended up on 10th Avenue, which is grittier and less crowded. And at this point, the sun had gone down. So Poetry Man slid his arm around my waist, dipped me back, and planted one on me. I let him find my tongue this time, and I practically floated home. The next morning, Poetry Man posted the most dazzling, romantic, fantabulous thing on Facebook. Let me see if I can remember it. About a woman who floats when she walks. Words flowing like her mouth can hardly keep up with the crazy cool thoughts in her brain. The glow of 10,000 suns emanating from her eyes and her smile. And you're hoping it's you and not just her way. You're thinking, holy fuck, this woman's like a Sharpie on my heart. I messaged to thank him for a lovely evening, adding that I was tickled pink by his post. He messaged back, don't be tickled, that post was about my ex-girlfriend. It gets better. He wanted me to schlep all the way down to Staten Island for a second date. So unlike the elementary school situation, there were 2 boroughs and a body of water between us. So I could make the sound decision that it was an offer I could and should refuse. But what if Poetry Man's post really was about me? I mean, the line where he says he's hoping it's not just her way implies she's somebody he's just getting to know, not someone he'd been with already. What if Poetry Man sincerely expressed the emotional impact I had on him, but my awareness of it made him feel too vulnerable to own it? That's the story I'm going with, anyway. So on the surface, my elementary school bad boy told everyone I was his slave. But bad boys in all of their stripes and colors, including orange, are enslaved in their own way. They're bound to this Neanderthal notion of manliness, right? Where they feel compelled to hide their vulnerable selves from themselves even. So the lesson that bad boys have missed is that empowering nurturers empowers them, right? When our hands are free and we have access to resources, we can be the Sharpies on humanity's heart, drawing peace signs and flowers. Seriously, though, we can elevate culture to free them to be the fully feeling humans they were meant to be. Thank you.
Keep it going for Mia. Yes, yes.